Remembrance Day is a memorial observed by Canadians and other Commonwealth country members to remind us of those who fought and died in the line of duty to keep us free. Instituted at the end of World War I. And one of the most important battles ever fought by Canadian troops during the First World War was the pivotal Battle of Vimy Ridge. Vimy Ridge was a high point, 110 meters tall and almost 10 kilometers long in northern France, that provided cover for a large amount of German territory against Allied guns and infantry. It was a key position of the German line in France as it overlooked the entire Dao Plain. At the time, and without the development of airplanes capable of significant bombing capabilities, Vimy seemed invincible. With hundreds of meters of open ground snarled in barbed wire leading up to it, the German position bristled with machine gun nests and large batteries of artillery, and also commanded an uninterrupted line of sight that warned against any enemy attack. After 2 years of sending thousands of British and French troops towards a veritable buzzsaw of bullets, bombs, and bayonets, and watching 150,000 casualties as the only tangible result between 1914 and 1916, the commanders of the mainly Canadian Corps decided to abandon the "let's throw bodies in front of machine guns" idea they'd been practicing in favor of newer, more sophisticated, and intelligent strategies. The taking of Vimy Ridge was a great military accomplishment, assisted by novel battle tactics and preparations. Through the use of improved communications, kite balloons, innovative sound ranging of the enemy's big guns, the platoon system, indirect machine gun fire, up-to-date enemy intelligence, and groundbreaking attacks like the rolling barrage. On April 9, 1917, the Canadian Corps launched an assault that achieved what no one else had been able to do, and in a very short time. Not without sacrifice, the action resulted in over 10,000 Allied casualties. But their victory that day marked a major turning point of World War I. And the courage and sacrifice of those who fought and died there symbolizes the essence of the victory. At that time, if Vimy had stayed in enemy hands, countless more lives would have been lost, and perhaps the outcome of the war itself would have been reversed. The high ground was never recaptured by the German forces, and the Allied forces retained the upper hand they needed to launch further initiatives that resulted in ultimate victory. Similarly, today, in the spiritual battle over biblical authority in the West, there seems to be a key position that God's people don't seem to be able to overcome. The enemy is using it to hold the church at bay, while they are suppressed, scattered, and ununified for over 100 years now. You see, it's become quite fashionable for Christians to attempt to defend the truth of the Bible and engage in apologetic skirmishes on many fronts, willing to debate Bible skeptics in areas like philosophy or the historical account of the resurrection, ethical, moral, and social issues, and even scientific arguments such as biological evolution versus intelligent design. However, most are simply too compromised and/or seemingly fearful to attempt to take the high ground in the war against the authority of the Word of God by rejecting the idea of long ages. And because of it, they will never achieve an ultimate victory. Arguing for any part of the biblical text means being able to defend all of it, especially the book of Genesis, the seedbed of all Christian doctrines. But belief in long ages is the platform that all naturalistic, humanistic, and atheistic attacks are derived from. Because atheists believe God doesn't exist, they have to have a way to explain their existence without a creator, which entails trust in some form of evolutionary process to account for their very being. Some kind of the story of evolution is the only game in town to prop up their humanistic beliefs. And since evolution requires millions of years of Earth history to be plausible, the concept of deep time is just like Vimy Ridge. It's a die-on-the-hill battle for atheists because the concept of evolution falls apart without it. Long ages are often seen like some sort of magical force in many people's minds. Just think about it for a second. Given that every single so-called scientific argument against God that a naturalist uses will be interpreted through an evolutionary lens founded on the fact that the Earth is millions of years old, deep time is like an entrenched fortress, virtually impenetrable to many modern minds. Deep time itself becomes godlike for many, a miracle worker, as avowed atheist George Wald stated. Given so much time, the impossible becomes possible, the possible probable, and the probable virtually certain. One has only to wait. Time itself performs the miracles.